Hi there guys, so a super quick intro to this video. I was really fortunate to grab some time with the brilliant Mark Bullock, who's the sports marketing manager at the University of Nottingham. Mark's got extensive experience in marketing and business development for some really high level sports organisations. So we're able to chat about everything from strategic marketing team development to behavioural change campaigns, as well as the sports sector's engagement and response to the metaverse and NFTs and all that kind of stuff. Mark was super generous with his time, and it's been a real pain in the butt cutting this interview down from the hour or so that we spent chatting. Anyway, enjoy.
So one of the first things I wanted to do when I came here was to completely reshape the way in which we capture media and share it. One of the biggest challenges was looking at the way in which we can do that quickly and be reactive to some of those key moments that happen, but also to bring on board a number of freelancers who are, in our opinion, best in class, who've got a real eye for what we wanted to deliver. A big part of that process was briefing them and letting them understand what we actually are. Sport here is so diverse. We champion the breadth and depth of our offering. That is that we have 75 sports clubs here. Almost as many as any other in the country. Is a huge plethora of sporting opportunities, but also depth in that we have sport at every level, so from entry level, from completely inactive students that are on campus, that aren't moving, aren't socially connected, all the way through to elite sport, top level sport, either competing in British university sporting competitions, BUCS, or being on a podium at Olympic Games. What was really important is that the way in which media is currently consumed by our students, by our audience, has fundamentally changed, with the way in which broadcast media has got better and better and better. The quality of broadcast media has got better and better. We're on the cusp of the Masters. I think it starts today. When I think of the Masters, I can think of the colour of the pine needles, the colour of the flag, the crowds at Amen Corner. All of those things are sensory. I've never been. I've never been there, but I can imagine exactly what it'd be like. And none of the things that I associate with the Masters are really about someone hitting a ball. They're all about the sensory things around it, the environment that broadcast media presents. It takes you to the event, makes you feel a part of it. There's a lot to be said for storytelling, and every marketer will tell you how important storytelling is to their journey. We try to make people feel that by using rich media, by using really good quality photography to take people closer to the action. It's a huge part of it, and I would say it's probably the most important thing that we do within our programme. It is wonderful to share these fantastic moments of athletes winning, crossing the line first, lifting a trophy, all the celebratory shots that you'll see through the media that we share. But the most rewarding part of this job is getting an inactive female out of her room, coming to the gym for the first time, creating a social network and having that connectivity that is physically changing that person's life for the better, enhancing their mental health first and foremost, improving their well-being, then becoming healthier and happier for it, and leading a fulfilled and happy life on campus. For us, that's the most important thing, and our campaigns are geared towards doing that. We've got a multi-award-winning campaign called Empower that gets inactive females out of their rooms and onto a programme for the first time in a safe, warm and welcoming environment. We have Girls' Night In here, which are girls-only evenings where, not just trying new sports and trying workshops, but more practical things like hair braiding for sport and things that are really helping stimulate interest and more practical tips that help support getting involved in sport. So there's a huge variety, I think, of programs that we run here that get students moving first and foremost, and then graduate them through that cycle. So you've got completely inactive at one end, and we've got a Just Play program which allows any student on campus to rock up to a session and try a sport for the first time, and we deliver roughly 20 sports a week for that during term time, so anyone can come and try that. moving on to kind of intramural sport where halls can compete against halls, and then it's moved slightly onto representational sport where our teams wear our kits and go and represent the university nationwide. And then should they win, as we've just had 14 titles go at BUCS Big Wednesday, and should you become national champions, you have the opportunity to represent GB at European student games as well. So you can see from getting out of your room for the very first time all the way up to performance sport and representational sport, there is absolutely something for everyone. And that is very much why we're recognised in 2 of the last 3 years as University of the Year for Sport. So firstly, it's a privilege to host it. I think that's the first thing to say. To bring the best teams in the country here for national finals is an honour, and it's a real privilege for us to host it. And there's some pressure that goes with that. We need to make sure that we can deliver a championship final for all of these sports, for all of these teams, pretty much under one roof, and all of the pitches and sporting facilities that we have here at the University of Nottingham. The first thing is the challenge that we face is how can we be in 14 finals at once? And look, they are spread out across the course of the day, but nonetheless, logistically that forms quite a challenge. As soon as the fixtures come out, and we're waiting with bated breath to see if our semi-finalists make it and where we need to be at certain times. But ultimately, it comes down to a huge amount of planning and preparation. So we do plan and prepare and pre-write copy for some of those moments and schedule a lot of our materials in, so that all we are then doing is reacting to those real life moments, those defeats or victories or narrow losses or narrow wins, and we can repurpose photography and videography very quickly and bring our channels to life. It's interesting because the early adopters of that will be the students that come through this programme. There's no question about that. And it is just touching distance away. We're always looking at ways in which we can adapt what we do, optimise what we do, and the use of data and audience insight really helps inform what we do. I think the whole industry is looking tentatively at what some early movers are doing and how successful those things are. You're looking at sports rights holders moving into NFTs and all sorts at the moment, and with some quite closed audiences, which is interesting. So I think it's going to be, for us, something to keep an eye on, and to understand where the benefits for us would be into moving into that space, financially or otherwise. But it's an interesting space. I think it's important to stress that, and I've spent a lot of time working with football supporters networks and events and getting insight from fans over the last 15 years. Nothing replaces a physical, in-person, authentic experience. Nothing. There's no digital replication for that. COVID has proved that. Empty stadiums with no fans in is been challenging for everyone, players included. And nothing replaces that sense of community, I think, that you also get. There's a huge sense of community here at the events that we deliver, where campus will come out and watch one of our big headliner events and sold out events. Now, there will be digital experiences that accompany it in the future, for sure. And there are some of that now. A lot of people are watching sport on dual screen, triple screen at the moment. And as I said earlier on, as the broadcast experience gets better, people will feel more involved in the experience remotely. But nothing will replicate going to live events, and that's something that we've been really keen to bring back here post-COVID, is just making sure we can provide those unique spectator sporting experiences for campus. So I think the first one is to not treat your audience as a homogenous group, as a singular group. There are lots of different benefits to speaking to and breaking down your audience into lots of different clusters, looking at lots of different personas, and to really get feedback from those groups. What we see is that our students have a huge variety of needs, and in identifying those needs, we're able to provide lots of different experiences for them. As I've said, there's a huge variety of sport and opportunity here, and we need to provide marketing materials and experiences that cater for all of those opportunities. One of the most important things we've done with our strategy is factor in some time that we can be reactive to things that happen, because sport is so unpredictable. Again, it can throw up injuries or its own stories. The success we've just had at our national championships is outstanding. In some cases predictable, in others, completely overawed by how well we've done. So we can create conditions around it to make sure that we capture those moments. Equally, we could have lost 14 finals, but we would still have to have an opportunity to tell those stories. But in terms of takeaways for the downtime, one of the most important, I think, takeaways is that when we build our program out, we want to make our events and our key moments throughout the year, whether that's the national championships or it's a girls' night in or a kind of an IMS Hall sports day, those opportunities present themselves. There's a drumbeat to those. They happen every year. We know when they're going to come, and we can pull them out the drawer from last year and look at them. What our challenge is to look at the relatively quiet time underneath that, when we don't have a national championships. How do we make sure that our channels are performing really highly during that time? So we do try and plan ahead as best we can, try and be as organised as we possibly can. As we've said, there's a huge variety of what we do and lots of spinning plates. But it does allow us to perform at a high level if we have quick feedback loops on all of our projects, so we can continue to optimise them.